Hi there, welcome back to the Cordless Vacuum Guide. And continuing my series on Roomba comparisons, we'll be looking at the Roomba i3 Plus and J7 Plus, two iRobot products in varying price brackets. The i3 Plus is at the entry-level niche and the J7 at the upper end. We'll go through the different aspects of these models from navigation, airflow, cleaning performance, and much more. The i3 Plus is currently iRobot's entry-level option and its cheapest alternative. I've heard rumblings about the i1 Plus, which is only available in select merchants, but it looks to be the same product as the i3 Plus based on what I've read. The J7 Plus is currently iRobot's latest product, and it's first with obstacle avoidance capability, able to evade objects like wires, shoes, and pet feces better than any robot I've tested. So the question is, which option is better? It would depend on several factors like budget and other feature preferences that varies depending on the consumer. I put these robots through a grueling series of tests to determine the better option and which one offers the better value. There's a lot to unpack, so let's get into it. First, let's look at their similarities, and the first one is obvious, their shape and dimension. The i3 and J7 utilize a round shape found in most Roomba products. One difference is that the J7 doesn't have an IR sensor, or a small disc-shaped contraption previous models used to communicate with the base station. In its place, the J7 relies on this pattern when docking to line up with the base station. The height difference is minimal, but every millimeter counts, especially for cleaning low-clearance furniture. With that, it also has the same counter-rotating extractors and side brush placement. You wouldn't be able to tell the two apart without looking at the top. Both use the same dustbin with the same 400 milliliter capacity. You could swap these containers without issues. The 400 ml volume is small, but capacity is not an issue with the self-emptying feature, since it increases volume more than 5-fold. Speaking of which, these robots have a clean base station, housing a second vacuum that empties the robot's dustbin after every run. Both utilize a bag system with a 2.4 liter capacity. I like this over a bagless design since it seals the dirt inside, making disposal easier and less messy. However, one difference is that the J7 Plus has a redesigned clean base station with a wider stance and a lower vertical footprint. Unlike the narrow i3 base station, the J7 is wider, so it has enough space for a slot for an extra bag. Both utilize a ram-style dock where the robot sits, providing better stability than a vertical dock. Despite the design variation, both will function similarly, where debris will flow through this port into a bag inside. Now to the differences, and the most obvious is the J7's obstacle avoidance capability, absent in the i3 thanks to the front-facing camera. It's iRobot's first product with such, and it's the best so far from the robots I've tested. iRobot did an excellent job, considering the J7 is their first obstacle-avoiding robot, particularly with its algorithm, since it didn't get too close to stuff like pet feces and stretch-out wires that other brands tend to. Other Roomba variants don't have this feature, including the i3, and won't evade obstacles well. The next difference is the map-saving capability of the J7, absent in the i3, since it lacks a camera and it doesn't have VSLAM. I've heard some folks saying that iRobot upgraded the i3 app with map saving, but that wasn't the case upon checking, and it lacks the hardware to make this possible. iRobot's top-mounted camera is what their products use to quote-unquote remember landmarks, thus unlocking other features like selective room cleaning, keep-out zones, and clean zones, in addition to saving maps. One silver lining for the i3 is its more efficient navigation, at least from my tests. I tried it on this small room, and it finished the run more than 10 minutes quicker than a J7 that didn't do as well navigating around tight quarters. One issue with the J7 is it hesitates when traversing around tight areas, whereas the i3 was more decisive, a big reason why it finished faster. But its lack of advanced features, like selective room cleaning, will hamper its functionality. Both will move in straight lines with the recharge and resume feature. This means that if it doesn't complete the cycle during the first go-around, it will resume after recharging until it's finished. The i3 is iRobot's cheapest option with smart navigation, but relies heavily on gyroscopes and its optical sensor to navigate. Cleaning performance is close, with the J7 having higher averages overall. Despite having the same airflow, it's better than the i3 across the board on both surface and embedded debris. However, the difference isn't much, only a few percentage points. The eye test confirms this, as both robots did a decent job picking up debris and making clean passes. Nonetheless, their side brushes will scatter debris, but I noticed this more with the i3 Plus than the J7. Both did well at picking up a high percentage of sand and surprisingly above average at edge cleaning, picking up most of the debris in this area. But neither will be as efficient as the S9. However, the low airflow and narrow extractors mean it will struggle to pick up hair, as both picked up a low percentage on both 5 and 7-inch tests. I wouldn't recommend either for cleaning long hair strands since a huge chunk will wrap on the axles. But the good thing with hair wrapping on the axles is it's easier to clean than hair wrapping on the bristles, which is one advantage these extractors bring to the table. Nonetheless, vacuuming performance shouldn't be a deciding factor since both robots will perform decently on daily messes like dust and hair. The J7 has a slightly larger battery than the i3, with a slightly longer runtime at around 85 minutes, versus the i3's 75 minutes. The 10-minute variance isn't much, but the J7's navigational upgrades, like selective room cleaning, offer consumers more deployment options. Noise levels are close, with the i3 slightly noisier at 64.9 decibels versus the J7's 63. Both variants are compatible with the iRobot Home app, but the J7 will have more options. It has map saving and the added benefits to go along with it, like containment, selective room cleaning, and clean zones. The obstacle avoidance feature is further enhanced by the Obstacle Areas tab in the app, allowing users to mark obstacles as permanent or temporary. Choosing the former will automatically create keep-out zones, which is another time saver. The J7 app also has a new feature rolled out, a robot called Robot Health, where it gives users a heads up when parts like the filter, extractors, or side brush need to be replaced. It also provides access to how-to articles and videos to do these tasks properly. The i3 app doesn't have this feature, and only time will tell if older variants will get this feature as well. It only has basic features like scheduling and a customized cleaning options tab, but that's about it. Choosing between the i3 and J7 will boil down to your preferences, whether you want the obstacle avoidance technology along with the navigational bells and whistles. Price obviously plays a huge factor since there's a significant price gap between these products. If not spending a premium is a huge consideration and you're okay with the navigational limitations, then the i3 is an excellent option. Otherwise, strongly consider the J7 if you want the best obstacle avoiding robot available. If you've made it this far, I'd like to say thank you and consider giving this video a thumbs up if it's been helpful to you. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when I publish new comparisons like this. Links are in the description for more information. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.